The wait is finally over, Bills Mafia. Big news is coming out of Orchard Park as Josh Allen's trusted weapon, Khalil Shakir, is officially back on the field and preparing for Week 1 under the primetime lights against the Baltimore Ravens. The return couldn't have come at a better time, because Shakir's role is going to be massive in shaping how far this offense can go in 2025. Before we dive deeper into the latest updates, do one quick thing for me. Subscribe to the channel, like this video. Shakir's comeback is a huge boost for Buffalo. The young receiver suffered a high ankle sprain back in early August during the blue and red practice at training camp. Fans were in attendance that day when he came down awkwardly during a routine drill and had to be helped off the field. The team immediately took the cautious route, listing him as week to week, and for a while his availability for the opener was in serious doubt. But now, all signs point to Shakir suiting up on Sunday night, and that's a massive win for this offense. It's important to remember that the Bills didn't go out and grab a headline-grabbing Pro Bowl receiver this offseason. That puts even more weight on Shakir's shoulders. His chemistry with Allen, his reliability in big moments, those are things Buffalo needs right out of the gate. And the injury isn't new to him either. Just last year, he suffered the same issue against these very same Ravens. He missed only one game before returning, but the Bills dropped that matchup to Houston by 3 points. The kind of production Shakir brings could have been the difference then, and it could absolutely be the difference again this season. The Bills aren't taking any chances with Khalil Shakir, and that's the smart move. He's been nursing the same type of ankle issue that slowed him down at the start of last season, and the coaching staff has kept him out of practice over the past couple of weeks. Instead of rushing him back, they've chosen to protect their playmaker and have him ready when it matters most, under the bright lights of Week 1. Shakir himself acknowledged the déjà vu of the situation, pointing out that the exact same thing happened in Baltimore last year. The difference back then was timing. Buffalo was already deep into the regular season, chasing wins and fighting for playoff position. That urgency forced a quicker return, and Shakir pushed through the discomfort to get back onto the field. This time, the Bills are thinking long-term. It's preseason work, not playoff football. And when you've got a trusted connection with Josh Allen, you don't need to prove anything in late August drills. Their chemistry is second nature, like riding a bike. Shakir knows the offense, Allen knows where he'll be, and the trust between them doesn't vanish just because of a few missed practices. That's why keeping him wrapped in bubble wrap until kickoff makes perfect sense. Shakir is a priority weapon, and Buffalo wants him healthy, explosive, and ready to deliver from the very first snap against Baltimore. When you look at the Buffalo offense, one connection stands above the rest, the bond between Josh Allen and Khalil Shakir. This partnership has become the heartbeat of the passing game. In fact, last season, Shakir accounted for nearly a quarter of the team's total targets, a massive share that shows just how much trust Allen places in him. Shakir isn't just a slot receiver who works the short and intermediate routes. He's versatile enough to stretch the field, too. Allen has never been shy about taking his shots deep, and Shakir has proven time and again that he can slip past defenders and make big plays downfield. That combination of reliability underneath and explosiveness over the top is what makes him so critical to this offense. With younger players like Keon Coleman still finding their rhythm in the NFL, Shakir's consistency is what keeps the chains moving. He's the guy Allen looks for in pressure situations, the one who can steady a drive when things start to wobble. That reliability is why his return to full strength could be the single most important factor in Buffalo's push to start the season strong. There's been plenty of talk about Shakir taking his game to another level this year, but what makes him so valuable is the consistency he already brings. Out of the slot, he's Josh Allen's security blanket, the receiver who's always where he needs to be, always reliable when a drive hangs in the balance. Even after weeks away from practice, the connection didn't miss a beat. Shakir said that the moment he ran routes with Allen again, it felt natural, like nothing had changed. That kind of timing isn't built overnight. It's a product of trust, repetition, and years of work. Right now, Allen to Shakir is the most dependable duo in this offense. The stats back it up too. In 2024, Shakir ranked among the most efficient receivers in the entire league, finishing with the fourth highest catch rate among all wideouts. Only elite names like Amon-Ra St. Brown, Devonta Smith, and Chris Godwin finished higher. That puts Shakir firmly in the conversation as one of the most reliable receivers in football, not just in Buffalo. And the Bills front office knows it. Brandon Beane recognized how vital the Allen-Shakir connection is, which is why the team wasted no time locking him up long-term. The 4-year, $60 million extension wasn't just a financial decision, it was a statement. When your franchise quarterback has his go-to guy, you don't let him leave. You make sure that bond stays intact for years to come. Now comes the challenge for Khalil Shakir, proving that his new contract matches his production. When a receiver earns a deal worth $60 million, the expectation naturally rises. The Bills will be looking for Shakir to deliver at a level that keeps this offense balanced and dangerous. Something in the neighborhood of 100 catches and over 1,000 yards would make that investment feel justified. For Shakir, it's about more than just the numbers. It's about stepping fully into the role of Allen's top target, being the guy defenses game plan for, and still finding ways to produce. If he can do that, the Bills won't need to chase an all-pro addition to the receiver room. Instead, they can continue with their everybody-eats approach, spreading the ball across multiple weapons while Shakir sets the tone. But while all eyes are on his next step, the front office has been busy making moves of their own. Buffalo recently shuffled the practice squad, adding new faces and preparing for the early stretch of the season. Brandon Beane and the personnel staff are constantly tweaking the roster, making sure this team has depth at key positions and flexibility to adjust if injuries hit. These smaller moves may not make headlines, but they're the kind that often pay off down the road when the season grinds deep into December. As the Bills prepare for Week 1, Brandon Beane and the front office continue to fine-tune the roster, making adjustments on the practice squad to strengthen depth. One of the recent moves came at cornerback, where Buffalo parted ways with Daquan Hardy. Hardy flashed at times during the preseason with 9 tackles, but the team decided to go in another direction, bringing in Jalen Kimber instead. Kimber only recorded 2 tackles in exhibition play, but the Bills clearly see upside in his game and hope he can push Buffalo's receivers on the scout team. With the cornerback group facing some uncertainty, every addition matters, and Kimber could turn into one of those under-the-radar finds. The Bills also bolstered the defensive line, signing Andre Jones Jr. to the practice squad after Washington let him go earlier in the week. Jones stood out during preseason action with a sack and a pass breakup, showing both energy and playmaking ability. Buffalo's defensive front is built on rotation and pressure, but it's also one of the youngest position groups on the roster. Adding a player like Jones gives the team another developmental piece while also providing insurance if injuries hit during the long grind of the regular season. The Bills' roster puzzle doesn't end with practice squad additions. Suspensions are also shaping how things will unfold early in the season. 2 significant names, defensive tackle Larry Ogunjobi and defensive lineman Michael Hoy, will both miss the first 6 games. Buffalo invested in them this offseason, expecting major contributions once they're available, which means when those suspensions are lifted, roster spots will have to be cleared. That reality places pressure on some of the depth pieces already on the 53-man roster. One player who could be directly affected is Javon Solomon. The young defensive end battled through preseason and earned his spot, but his role going forward remains uncertain. With veterans like A.J. Epinesa and developmental prospects such as Landon Jackson also in the mix, Solomon may have to fight harder than ever just to stick around. The challenge for Solomon will be proving his value in practice, outworking everyone, showing versatility, and forcing coaches to keep him on the field. If he can't separate himself, he could be one of the first names considered when Hoy or Ogunjobi return. In other words, this season may represent his final shot to prove he belongs in Buffalo's rotation long term. As for Larry Ogunjobi's return, it creates another layer of roster intrigue. Buffalo won't move on from established pieces like Daquan Jones or rookie Dwayne Carter, but a trade could be in play down the line. Brandon Beane is never shy about exploring options, and the presence of Jordan Phillips on the practice squad gives the team flexibility. If Buffalo needs to make room when suspensions are lifted, moving a defensive lineman for future draft capital or depth at another position is a realistic possibility. On the injury front, a handful of names raised eyebrows during Wednesday's practice report. Christian Benford was working with trainers on the side, but early signs suggest he'll be ready for Week 1. Tre'Davious White was also held out, though the team hasn't ruled him out for the opener just yet. That situation is worth monitoring closely, as the secondary becomes far more vulnerable if he can't go. Offensively, Curtis Samuel didn't participate either, though that may have been more of a maintenance day as he continues to work back from his training camp injury. On the line, Cedric Van Pran Granger was spotted doing rehab work on the side, but his availability for Week 1 appears promising. Meanwhile, Tylan Grable is still in concussion protocol, and his status will depend on how he progresses through the final stages. For Buffalo, the health of these players is critical. Benford's return would stabilize the secondary, but White's situation looms large. Until Max Melton comes off injured reserve, the Bills' CB2 spot remains one of the biggest question marks on the roster. Getting their top corner back on the field for the opener would be a massive boost as the team gears up for a physical, high-stakes battle against Baltimore.